ITMAlive Season 3, featuring a panel discussion on the impact of digitalisation and automation on sustainability. Discover exciting, innovative insights with panellists Charles Baudouin, Kevin McCoy, Geneviève Dion. Moderated by Jonas Larsson.
Hello and welcome to ITMAlive. Thank you all for tuning in. And this week we're going to explore the impact of digitalization and automation on sustainability. My name is Jonas Larsson, and I'm an associate professor at the Swedish School of Textiles, University of Borås. I will be the moderator of this panel, where we will talk about how digitalization and automation can support a sustainable transformation of the textile industry, how it may enable collaboration towards circularity and climate neutrality, and how it may increase competitiveness. With us here today, we have Mr. Charles Baudouin, the CEO and owner of Van de Wele.
Thank you, Jonas. I started the business in 1987, working to automate and digitalize the carpet industry. Today, 70% of carpets and rugs made worldwide are made on our machines. The company has also expanded to other segments like spinning, weaving, knitting, and non-wovens, as well as electronics. Today, we have about 8,000 associates with plants in 15 different countries.
We have Professor Geneviève Dion. She's the director of the Center of Functional Fabrics and the Pennsylvania Fabrics Discovery Center. She's also full professor, Department of Design at the Westphal College of Media Arts and Design at Drexel University.
Thank you, Jonas. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I started an initiative at Drexel University 15 years ago, thinking about how we can think about advanced manufacturing and in the textile industry as a teaching tool primarily, but over time we really realized that in order to bring back manufacturing and to think about sustainability, we needed to really start to focus on advanced manufacturing tool, including the digital twin. So at this point, we are working with partners all over the country, in the US and also all over the world to create these new digital tool in order to bring textile to the advanced manufacturing that it needs to be.
I leave to Mr. Kevin McCoy. He is the Vice President of Made in the US at New Balance.
Thank you, Jonas. It's a pleasure to be here today. New Balance has been a privately held company since 1972, and my role within the organization is to drive Made in USA, which is the components of the overall global New Balance business. We are actively looking to partner with suppliers through capability development and reshoring activities to help revitalize and reinvigorate Made in USA to help bring technologies and capabilities back to the US.
A very warm welcome to all of you. In this discussion today, we will be exploring a twin transition approach where leaders can bring their digital and sustainability agendas together to future-proof their organizations. And I'm going to ask Charles first, and I would ask him, what is your point of view on how digitalization and automation will impact the sustainability of the textile industry?
I think both go hand in hand. The textile industry is known to have very long supply chains. So nearly if you look for cotton, about 2 years between harvesting the cotton and having the product on sale. So this creates a lot of waste because fashion changes, trends change. Also, we have old and suboptimal processes in between. So digitalization and the concepts of automation allow us to have a much shorter supply chain, with less waste, which has a very positive impact on sustainability. Also, the automation and the technology today allows us to make in textiles a lot of new products. I mean, if you look at technical textiles that were unthinkable in the past and that provide actually a much more ecological friendly footprint than other products. If you look, for example, at today's surfboards or airbags or other technical products that are used in mechanical industries, you see how textiles really has a very big impact to lighten the products, to make them more robust, to actually make them more long-term friendly to the consumer or the user.
Thank you, Charles. Kevin, I know you work a lot at New Balance with shortening the supply chains. So what are your take on this, how digitalization and automation may impact the sustainability?
Thank you, Jonas. What we're looking at from our brand's perspective, specifically in reshoring, is we're a victim to a lot of the long lead times that Charles indicated. And we have a few local suppliers who provide us with textiles right now. But we're looking to through some advancements of performance materials that will help us build product locally that is superior to the product that is imported right now. That use through technology, data to design, getting the designer right on the mill floor as they're looking to create those components, and then the automation activities that will enable us to duplicate those at a very high and rapid and high first pass yield pace, ultimately leading to ordering what we need so that we don't put product in material into landfill through those shortened lead times that will inevitably get through this design, digitization, and automation effort.
Yeah, very, very interesting. And I think we have much of the technologies for this already, right?
Yeah, I believe that there are some of them. A lot of it's getting to the raw material, getting down to performance yarns. I'm working with Genevieve and her team at Drexel to help us get into some of these activities and really be the forward-leading brand in this space.
Great. So, which leads us to Genevieve. What do you think about this? How automation and digitalization will impact sustainability?
I see lots of aspects to sustainability. One of them is the sustainability of our workforce. I think that bringing people who really can quickly understand textile and textile innovation, this has to happen to digitization. Learning to operate the textile machinery at the moment takes a lot of hands-on, which is absolutely okay and need to continue to happen, but we also need to give a helping hand to be able to more quickly understand and learn how to operate and fabricate textiles. We also want to get to a point where we don't have to make 100 or more than 100 samples to see if our idea is going to work. So through digitalization, we may not get to 1-to-1, but if we can go to 1-to-10, it would be an enormous help towards sustainability and also reducing the time to market for product.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now there is a bit of an energy crisis in the world. Do you think this energy crisis will undermine the digital transformation of the textile and clothing industry? Start with Kevin.
Thank you, Jonas. I do believe that this energy crisis, I'm not sure if it will undermine, but it will force us to attack this problem in a very, very different and unique way. Genevieve brought something up, the number of samples to get to bright or to get to yes. I believe that brands and design houses need to understand the behavior of late stage transformation, which enables us to utilize somewhat common material and then transform them at the last possible stage to meet consumer and or purchase intent. Following these principles will absolutely help us conserve our valuable resources and put ourselves in a position where we can service the market with innovative product that meets ultimately consumer needs.
Yeah, thank you. So Genevieve, would you like to build on that?
Yeah, I think that it's a very good point, and also what New Balance working on in having a more U.S. supply chain is also another way of thinking about it, right? So to solve, we won't solve the energy crisis, but can we be more energy efficient in our supply chain in the way that we create the products, and how can each of us have a smaller ecosystem that we work around in the area that we live in. So I think that those are very, very important things to think about in order to address that. So we may not be able to solve it, but like Kevin said, we have to think about different ways of approaching it. And I think these ideas have been out there for quite some time now, but I think now we're being forced to really consider them and give them, to think about them and to put them in practice is what I want to say.
I think we use the tools of digitalization and automation to be more resource efficient, which also means to lower energy use. So this might be tools to help us get through the crisis, I think. Yeah,
absolutely.
Charles, what do you think about the current energy crisis?
I think every crisis is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for change. It's an opportunity for using more modern technology that is much less energy intensive than before. It's the opportunity to have more productive investments closer by. It's actually the opportunity to rethink the products we make, to make them lighter weight, so that also, especially in the transport sector, but also in many consumer products. And so actually every crisis is an opportunity of consciousness that things need to change. And so I don't welcome the crisis, but I think it can have a very positive effect on sustainability, on modernization of the textile industry, on actually ensuring the automation and digitalization also we are talking about.
Yeah, never let a good crisis go to waste, or
exactly.
Right. So let's move on. How do you think digitalization and automation can enable the supply chains in the garment industry to work more together to achieve climate neutrality, circularity, and increased competitiveness simultaneously? We start with Genevieve.
So I think, again, these become the digital twin, become tools of communication, tools. So suddenly you have a better way of communicating across discipline, the concept that you're trying to achieve, and you have the visual to discuss them. And then you also have if you have a real digital twin, which means also not just a graphic representation of the product that you're making, but an actual representation of how the yarn behave, how the textile behave in a virtual environment, then you can begin to address problems from a different point of view and also more quickly communicate and get on the same page about the issue you need to address, the successes that you may see. I also see this as a likely solution to perhaps even invent new equipment, right? Because I think that the more people can understand and communicate how textiles are fabricated through a virtual environment may lead to innovation in the manufacturing of new equipment that right now is the people who know and understand the equipment and have a long history of developing equipment that pass this on from one person to the next. But with digital twin, then we have the opportunity to open up the field to people who have maybe a lesser interest in textile, but will gain more understanding of textile through digital fabrication.
So not only use digital tools to sort of open up across the supply chain, but almost also to open up over generations.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very interesting. Kevin, what's your take on how we can work, how digitalization and automation can enable more collaboration?
I'm going to look at it from the standpoint, I'm going to start with circularity and then move backwards from there. What we're trying to do as we onshore new technologies, new capabilities with new suppliers is ground our raw material in sustainable friendly builds. So we're going to start right from the jump and get into materials that are environmentally friendly, and then look to build and augment those in ways that will deliver the level of performance that we need to. By starting with your base and your raw material that delivers on what your end goal is, which is to really enable that the back end disposition of it, you put yourself in a position where every decision you make now from here forward, put yourself in a position to further action and deliver on that. The digital twin is a very interesting concept. It's new to us in New Balance. I'm using it in my footwear factories as a vehicle to validate multiple manufacturing lines of the same item. And Genevieve is exactly right. It gives us the chance to find those differences and how materials are working based on our line setups. And the climate neutrality component of this, just getting it back to the raw material and not to overconsume those valuable resources, and then dispose of less than you're consuming, so that you put yourself in a position where you're doing the best for the planet, you're doing best for the consumer, and you're doing best for the brand.
Great, thank you. Yeah, this is you touched the point there, overconsumption. How can we, reduce overconsumption? That's the most important thing. So last on this question, Charles, what are your thoughts on collaborations in the supply chain?
I think it's essential. If the first and the biggest waste and also cost price damaging in the supply chain is the long lead times that you see throughout the production areas still now. So we can only reduce by working together between actually the people who produce the raw materials, the people who transform them, the people who actually then build the products out of them. So for me, that is an essential element where we need to work together between machine builders, between actually software providers, between also producers. The second is just even a bigger challenge is how are we going to recycle in the products in a very, let's say, not degrading type of where you use old clothing to make insulation material and then throw away the insulation material, but where we really go back and can reuse the basic components, the fibers, and remake full worthy products. And that is also a challenge where technology will play an essential role, because we have reached a little bit the limits of the mechanical recycling, and we will need to invest much more in the chemical recycling of the raw materials. Mm. And then actually the digital twin for me is a fantastic opportunity for the whole textile industry, not only in the sense of the better preparation, better training of the operators, etc., so that you produce less waste, but also just imagine how making a digital twin by basically scanning anybody's body and make clothing that is perfectly fitting to your body I mean, by basically having a digital twin of yourself, and that we make a personalized clothing. And this is actually, today may sound a little bit a dream, but it's for sure tomorrow. It will be. It is already perfectly possible, and it will become generalized. And so that is also a way where we can reduce strongly the overconsumption, because a lot of overconsumption is simply due to the fact that the products are not really adequate. And so I think the gain for everybody in sustainability, also the consumer, is not necessarily going to a higher cost, but on the contrary, to have a better product that is actually very affordable to the customer because it's produced without waste.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. I mean, we have touched upon several times so far in the discussion the digital twin technology, and I myself do many projects on that. Right now, we're teaching a robot how to sew in a virtual environment, for example. But so this is very interesting and dear to me as well. But how do you think digital twin solutions may help to shape the future of the textile industry? And we start with Genevieve.
I think there's many aspects that we can touch upon for that. I think that, again, we did discuss the idea of we can reduce the amount of samples in order to get the product that we want. If you can actually create the textile in a virtual environment and test it in the virtual environment and ultimately shape it too, it becomes part of a large advanced manufacturing platform that can then be mixed with other technology. So I always think about, architect design buildings, and they're able to see the wind flow through BIM, etc. And with textile, it's much more difficult to do the testing prior to manufacturing. You test for failure afterwards. But once we were able to do that, will it enable us to use textile as a manufacturing process in line with other manufacturing process like 3D printing on the textile, and understanding how it can be part of a large chain, not just textile, but textile and other processes, and also just textile alone. So I think the digital twin opens up enormous value for textile, so that it can be incorporated with other material in the digital twin and the advanced manufacturing process. So that's one aspect. And then, of course, then in the sustainability area, to reduce the amount of waste, because we can really determine which textile is best suited for our application prior to making it, testing it, evaluating it, and taking it all the way to a product.
Kevin, what do you think? We have already talked about this, but you have some more things that you would like to talk about with the digital twin solutions?
Yeah, I do, Jonas. Thank you. So as I mentioned, we're starting the digital twin in our manufacturing process, where we're using it as a vehicle to validate quality, right? Ensuring that the article and the subcomponents meet the expectation. We're looking to start to use it in design as a vehicle to help us with engineering costs, design costs, what design materials would look like, and then looking to share that with some of our design partners to help them get to yes faster. There's a lot of work, as Genevieve and Charles have outlined. Waste is the number one issue that all of us are trying to resolve. Waste in time, waste in raw material, waste in resource. And by using this technology as a vehicle that gets us to yes faster, and gets us to a much more refined and robust sampling program, we will ultimately get to the consumer what they want. We'll get the partner and our design group what they're looking for. And we deliver back to our organization, and really to the globe what they're asking us to do, which is to be mindful with resources, using technology as the vehicle to get there.
Yeah, I think if we use, I've done some calculations. If we use automation and the digital tools that we have, we can build an industry that fits within one planet, and we could still, won't have to change that much in the way we behave. Charles, right, on the last one on the digital twin.
Well, digital twin, I think, is a technology that is now quite common in all type of machinery, not only in textile but also in all type of basically machines, and is the process of digitalization of work preparation, and product preparation. The, I think, intriguing idea was the one of Professor Dion, where you start to say you could actually then look at how to combine basically the textile with other technologies to produce very unique products. And I have one example of that is, for example, in the aerospace industry, where the planes now are made out of carbon fiber, but carbon fiber is a textile product, and where structural parts of the airplane are now made by a combination of carbon fiber and together with other technologies in order to give them more structural resistance, but still lighter weight than the classic metal parts. And so this is the necessary evolution where industry goes through, where you combined basically digital twin with artificial intelligence to create completely new products, and where you really can transform the way we live, but without making it a negative impact on our life, but on the contrary, to enrich our life and to allow us to share the wealth that we have all over the world.
Yeah. Right. So this leads us to the last question. And I'll start with you, Charles. What benefits do textile and garment manufacturers and brand owners gain as they embrace automation and sustainability?
Well, I think, first of all, it's not only about benefits. There is no choice. This is the way that every industry goes. And so you need to go this way because it's the only way to make better products, cheaper products, more durable products, recyclable products, what the customer wants, what the consumer wants. And so this is the way we all go. And I think we need to convince some of textile manufacturers maybe that change is coming, but change is inevitable. And the opportunities of change are that they will have a more sustainable industry, a more sustainable factory, a more sustainable supply chain than in the past. And that, I think, is the major benefit to anybody to join basically this automation, digitalization, and also basically reducing the carbon footprint, because all those go hand in hand.
Thank you, Charles. Kevin, what are your thoughts on this?
Thank you, Jonas. I'm going to take a slightly different slant on this. I believe that the implementation of technology, automation, and sustainability ultimately going to lead to what I'm looking for in my manufacturing facilities. Number one, a safer workplace, to drive injuries down to those associates that are on the front line that have to handle this product every day and put themselves in a position where they quite possibly could get hurt through some activity. The second is the ability to upskill, right, which is a fantastic opportunity for some of the folks in manufacturing industries to put them in a position where they can earn a better wage, provide better for their family, as technology does the work that is more forward-facing, and you have the associate group manage the technology that runs the manufacturing line. The benefit and the unintended consequence, positive consequence there, is better product, more reliable, higher first pass yield, and ultimately lower cost at a period of time. But recognition that initially costs is not going to be the first thing that falls off. The cost of investment is significant. And brands such as myself at New Balance need to understand and recognize that this transformation we're undergoing is going to be an expensive one, but a necessary one. And we need to continue to work with our partners to ensure that we're enabling and supporting these activities as they mature and unfold, so that we're able to take advantage of them in year 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that. And lastly, Genevieve, what are your thoughts on this?
I think that one of the amazing opportunity, if I'm thinking about being on a university campus, is education and workforce development, and to pick up a little bit on what Kevin said, is the idea that a new workforce, I think, with the digital twin and has the ability to better understand the product that they're making quickly, get up to speed of how textile manufacturing works, and then there's more space for innovation. There's more space to contributing to the new product, because some of the making is become automated, and some of it, like Kevin said, is very hard. It's hard on the body, it's hard for the workers. So some of it is very important. If we think about our workforce and how we want to rebuild our workforce, we know about it in the United States in particular, then we have to think about bringing them to the table and offering them something that they feel that they can contribute to. So the ability to contribute to a new way of working and be part of innovation and not just the manual labor. I mean, some of it will be there to a point, but that's also a very, very important thing that advanced manufacturing offers. And I think that's a part that's extremely exciting to me as we develop the tools to try to excite people about being part of the textile world.
Thank you, everybody, for joining this panel. Today, we have talked about how digitalization and automation can support a sustainable transformation of the textile industry, how it can enable collaboration towards circularity and climate neutrality, and how it may increase competitiveness. It is my hope that you have gained some insights into these topics today. I know I have. Therefore, I would like to thank the panelists and for their contribution to this discussion. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to the ITMA team.
Join us
at ITMA
2023
to transform
the
the world
world
of
of textiles.
textiles.